Our next speaker is Justin Chong with his speech entitled Lost in Translation. Lost in Translation, Justin Chong.
So, people say, but don't take my word for it because there's a lot of fake news around nowadays, but people say that the funniest stories are actually the saddest ones. Stories which are so sad to the point that it just becomes funny. Stories which just give you a headache because you're wondering whether you should laugh or to cry. Stories like the one which I am about to tell you, so pay attention, ladies and gentlemen. The saddest story in the world. My life story. So it all began in a primary school called Sekolah Sri Letia, where I, Justin Chong, believe it or not, lived the life of a rock star. I mean, for God knows what reason. Could have been my hair, I don't know. But I was famous, baby. I was famous. Guys like me, girls were into me, and teachers were just giving me golden stars up, down, left, right, and center. When I walk around school, and if you were to see me from afar, you'd see the wind just blowing against my hair and my clothes. I was never alone. I always had cronies walking to my left and my right. And people would call me names like the Asian Denzel Washington. I was that smooth, ladies and gentlemen, I was that smooth. So, I was on top of the world, you see. And I was really looking forward to carrying on my legacy onto secondary school. But you know what they say, life always has other plans for you. So what happened was, my parents enrolled me in a school called SMJK Guanghua, which is a semi-government Chinese school, which means that the syllabus, although it's taught in English, but every single person who went there came from a Chinese school, which means they only spoke in Chinese. And I was devastated. I know some of you are already thinking, hey friend, you look like the most Chinese person in the world, why are you devastated? Well, the truth of the matter is, ladies and gentlemen, I may look Chinese, I may eat Chinese, I may read Chinese, but for all intents and purposes, I cannot speak a word of Chinese. I am what you would call an OCBC. An orang Cina, bukan Cina. A banana, yellow on the outside, very obvious, but unfortunately, white on the inside. And so, I cried, I protested. I held a birthday 6 rally in front of my parents. But there I was, on the first day of secondary school before the gates of Guanghua, with my school bag in hand. As I walked in, I saw this huge 20 feet Confucius statue with a book in his hand, just staring at me, identifying me as the intruder. As I walked deeper into school, the more people I saw, the more voices I heard, yet the lonelier I felt. You see, I had friends, but my friends would say things like this to me. Why can't you speak Chinese? You mean our ancestors came all the way from China to Malaysia, crammed up on a boat for 4 months, and this is how you repay them? And I was so lonely. Until one fateful day, when I was just eating alone in the canteen, me, myself, and I, with my plate of wonton mee, or just focusing on wonton mee because got no one else to talk to, so I'm just focusing on wonton mee. When suddenly I heard a voice, "Hi." And I can only define that moment as a biblical event when Moses split the Red Sea into 2. And right before me was this goddess. Her name is Angel, name befitting of her beauty, because, ladies and gentlemen, kid you not, skin like porcelain, bubblegum lips, huge brains. But most importantly, guys, she spoke the Queen's English, which means that we could communicate. And so we got to know each other. And apparently we shared the same interests. She liked to read books, I liked to read comics. She liked to study, I liked to watch her study. And soon we grew closer, and I liked her. And I knew that she liked me too. But what I did not know, however, was that Angel already had some sort of a secret admirer. And he was from the bad class. You know, the students who didn't study but practice like Wing Chun all day. You know? Oh shit, should have done that. Anyways, he was from 1G. You know, one A for one alpha, 1G for one gangster. Okay? So one day, this gangster who wasn't happy at all, just strolled in my class, like, what? Strolled into my class, came to my table, started banging on my table, shouting at me, pulling at my collar. And I was terrified, ladies and gentlemen. But don't get me wrong, I was terrified, don't get me wrong. But the thing which I was most terrified about was the fact that after one whole year of studying in Huanghua, I still could not understand a single word that he was saying. And I felt bad, to be honest, because you could see that he had prepared his speech very well. You can just imagine him going home earlier the day before, saying bye to his gangster friends. Hey, I go cyber cafe with you another day. I got something important to do. Going home, taking out his Toastmasters manual, fine-tuning his speech, finally coming in and giving it to me. I couldn't understand a single word. So I had to call a friend to come over and translate. Hey, bro. Translate to this Bruce Lee, by the way, the gangster, okay? So I said, bro. You seem to be very passionate about what you're saying, which really transmitted to the audience. Your vocal variety was on point, as your pitch went higher as you got angrier, and went lower as you delivered your insults. Your use of the stage and the props, my collar for example, was simply outstanding. You made several references about my mother, which is, I find it quite rude to be honest. But nevertheless, it showed your creativity. The only thing I want you to take away from this already wonderful speech, my dear friend, is that I'm so sorry, bro, but I can't understand a single word that is coming out of your mouth. And he took it very professionally, because he damn well beat me up so professionally. So bruised and battered, ladies and gentlemen, but rest assured, there is a happy ending to this story. You see, at the end of the day, I was just laying down on Angel's lap, and she was just stroking my hair, cleaning up the blood from my nose, and calling me her little banana. So jokes aside, ladies and gentlemen, the moral which I want you to take away from this story is to never ever forsake your mother tongue. Thank you very much.